beer is a beer that I could not find, but it is the beer that I wanted, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. Um, I don't know whether they don't make it anymore or whether it just isn't available in our market, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm going to share my screen here so that you can at least see what this beer is. That is, if I can find it. Ah, the stupid share screen goes away. So let me do it. There you go. So this is Earthquake High Gravity Lager. This is basically a 10% alcohol malt liquor. So I can tell you what it's gonna taste like, even though I have never tried it before. It's gonna be extremely sweet, maybe a little bit boozy, golden grainy, but primarily sweet and boozy. It is, think American lager times 3.
Okay.
But how could I pass up the name?
Yeah, that's a great name for this reading.
It's perfect. You can't, I couldn't have gone anywhere else. So, since I don't have it to drink, I can't describe it to you. So, Sandra, if you want to go ahead and dive into that reading, have at it.
Yeah.
And it'll become clear why I chose that beer.
It certainly is clear to me.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we began planning our Drive-In 65 in 1962, and we did run into a major obstacle. For several months, with every weekend visit to Moose Pass, Mom and Phyllis gathered all of us together for brainstorming. Where did we most want to go? Each of us had wonders in mind. Surfing, the Empire State Building, the cliff dwellings. By early 1964, Phyllis had purchased a van and negotiated with her husband, Bill, to modify it for our needs. We needed places for everyone to sleep and rooftop storage. What could we, the kids, do to earn spending money for the trip? I sometimes babysat to earn money, and since we had the Friday before Easter off school, Marley and I walked a half-mile to a babysitting job with our friend Becky, watching 5 little kids in an apartment on Minnesota Drive while their mother ran errands. We tried to keep the toddlers amused and played games with the older kids. Then a table lamp tipped over. I looked up. Which child knocked that down? A floor lamp rocked back and forth with nobody near it. Becky, Marley, and I exchanged glances with a shocked awareness. Earthquake. Sandy, quick, under the table, Becky said as she shoved the baby into my arms. We urged the kids to safety while the floor shifted and rolled beneath our feet. A sewing machine on the table teetered dangerously. Save it, cried the oldest boy. Mom needs it for her sewing jobs. Marley hefted the 15-pound sewing machine. Straining with all her 10-year-old might, she lowered it to the floor. She yanked the chairs away and rushed to join me and the kids beneath the table. The concrete floor became a carnival ride. The fourplex groaned. Dishes shattered into broken heaps. The kids screamed in terror, shaken by the earth. Quakes were familiar to us, but unlike the usual temblors that lasted only seconds, this one rumbled more than 4 minutes. Any place we stopped, gas stations or national parks, the Alaska license plates and our crazy vehicle with the stuff piled on top and
do you by any chance have a picture of that crazy vehicle handy?
Well, I have this is not a very good picture, and actually I don't have very good pictures, but this is a picture of it set up on the beach in Ventura, California. And they only made that style of vehicle. It's a Chevy Greenbrier van, a part of the Corvair series. And the little lean-to tent that rolled down from the side is where Mom and Phyllis and Grandma slept on those aluminum loungers. And Jim and I slept on a slide out thing out the back doors with a tarp over it, and the 3 littler kids slept on the 3 bench seats.
That handy, don't you?
I do, and it kind of gives a little more perspective on where all we traveled.
Oh, wow.
So
Those who are listening on podcast, you can go to YouTube and you'll be able to see what Sandy is pointing to. Go ahead, show the route that you
So
took.
we started in Anchorage. You travel a little bit north before you enter Canada, and then went south east across the Canada and entered the States again at International Falls, Minnesota. We visited relatives in Wisconsin, went on over to Boston and Cape Cod, and down the East Coast with a week-long stop in New York and a week-long stop in Virginia where we had family, and mostly just stopping no more than a night. Visited across the southern coast and then up to Colorado where my Uncle Bill's relatives were, and he came out to meet us there, my aunt's husband, and we spent a week there, and then drove south to Mexico City, where we planned to stay for a few days, but a couple of us got pretty sick with the usual kind of food problems people encounter in Mexico. So we came back, but we made a wrong turn in Mexico. So we ended up going back east and had to cross Texas again, and came up the West Coast, and we took the ferry system from Prince Rupert to Haines in southeastern Alaska. And yeah, so
That's a phenomenal route. Did you have that fully planned out, or did you leave room for just some kind of flying by the seat of your pants?
well, we knew generally the route we wanted to take. And since we were doing quite a bit of camping, probably half the time, we did not have hotel reservations, here and plotted along the way.
Right.
We just drove in pretty general terms to, whatever was our next destination. But we would, we knew we wanted to see the Grand Canyon, but we also stopped and saw the Painted Desert and the Petrified Forest, things in the, that area we wanted to see. And
Right.
sometimes we had surprises. We stopped at places in Florida where there were Civil War forts that had been turned into state parks. And so
wow.
we didn't really know those were there, but we had a lot of fun exploring those kind of places.
Good.